Welcome back to Film Buff Bros, and in this episode, we're going to talk about our favorite Ralph Bakshi movies. Yeah, I would probably go with Fritz the Cat. It's been a while since I've seen it. I know animated movies aren't really your bag, but for some reason it popped in my head that we should do Bakshi. I'm going with Hey Good Lookin', starring David Provo, I think his name is, and then Richard Romanus, both from Mean Streets. And they play some, I guess, probably guys like in their early 20s in Brooklyn in the 50s. And it's actually, like, it starts out, it seems like it's going to be a pretty, like, simple story with static characters and just, like, a lot of debauchery and silliness and violence. But then it actually has a pretty cool character arc for Romanus's character, Vinny, and the guy who David Provo plays also has an interesting arc. Like, he seems like the bumbling, cowardly fool, and Vinny seems like the cool, masculine kind of guy. And they kind of switch roles. It ends up like in the, I guess, second act. No, I guess it's the third act. I have a hard time identifying which is which. I think the beginning of the third act, end of the second act is when things really start to turn in a direction, an unexpected direction. And then it starts to get way more psychedelic during that part of the movie. A kind of keystone feature of Bakshi. And yeah, it's quite enjoyable. I would probably say Fritz is my number one. I really like Wizards as well, and Fire and Ice is another good one. I know it's just not only is it like raunchy, it's just which I'm not really into that. I'm not into like the grotesque stuff. You know, I mentioned that before. But because it's in cartoon form and it's like silly, but he kind of touches a lot of serious topics in a, I was gonna say, lighthearted way. I don't know. It's just, for cartoons, it's surprisingly deep, I'd say. But I know you have some different thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's definitely talking about society and all that stuff. And first time seeing one of his films, seen bits and pieces of Fritz the Cat, and I haven't seen any of the other ones, but I like his animation, like Fire and Ice and all these. The animation of this was fantastic, like the shading, the lighting, everything. Music, the score, the soundtrack, awesome. The voice acting was great too. But besides that, I just think it's so overly perverted the whole time. Like every 5 minutes, there's perversion stuff happening. It makes race an issue constantly. Kind of enforces and like propagates like white guilt. Portrays black people as bullies, pimps, thieves, violent like animals, no pun intended. And victim mentality, and all the cops are literal pigs. They're corrupt imbeciles. And like it seems like it's actually encouraging like violent rioting, like, you know, that Joker movie and stuff, kind of making a hero out of someone that just like lashes out violently instead of makes wise decisions. Yeah, and just I think it's borderlines on propaganda, as far as, yeah, like some stereotypes are there, I guess, but like this one is just so overt. It's not very subtle, and it's just a little too heavy-handed for me. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth a watch, just so you can, for me to recognize like that sort of filmmaking, and that I don't like that sort of filmmaking.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend it in the sense that it's really, for its time, 72, like a groundbreaking film.
Yeah, I think it was probably, it was obviously like being worked on in 1970, maybe 69, and just like, I think those stereotypes that he's portraying were fit for that kind of era. He was trying to show that there was racism against blacks, like the Jim Crow laws had just ended. And with the animation, it being an animated movie, I think that it kind of lends to being over the top like that. I think, yeah, it's dated, for sure. I just remember seeing it on like Showcase or A&E back in, I think, like high school or something like that. I was like, what is this? Like, this was like kind of like before South Park, before Family Guy, before like the raunchy cartoons. It was like the first like raunchy cartoon, so it was kind of mind-blowing for me. But yeah, I think like Wizards and Fire and Ice, there's other ones that are more, I didn't really like the Lord of the Rings one, but like the other fantasy ones I think are less like preachy, and as well as Hey Good Looking.
Gotcha. He's finding his stride with that first one and kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he just like, it's kind of like an information like dump, you know, like of a young man's like expression of kind of the times that he was living in. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, that's our episode for this week. Tune in next week for another episode, and please click down below to like and subscribe, and also leave a comment to let us know what kind of movies you want us to review next.
Thank you for watching, guys.